Pops in a pod. Pops in a pod.
Hey everyone, we have a really useful episode lined up for you today. Parents and non-parents alike. Peter, I think this is a pretty unique episode that we're doing today, aren't we?
Yeah, and it comes at the right time also, right? I mean, last week we spoke about buy and not to buy, and oh boy, what a revelation that was, right? Just the amount of stuff that we've accumulated in our house. Well, some wanted, some unwanted. That's all I'm going to leave it at.
No, absolutely. And considering that when we started our journey, one of the first episodes that we did was how do we go about kind of buying or, getting baby stuff, right? And here we are 2 years later, and we just realized that that list keeps on increasing. And I think that's where the whole concept to simplify second-hand goods comes into play, which is very lovingly called pre-loved products.
Yeah, but coming to that, Nadir, I must ask you, I mean, I know at least when we did the episode a few years ago, you talked being gifted a lot of things. Has your daughter in the last couple of years got any pre-loved or second-hand toys?
Oh,
clothes?
yeah, loads. And she still keeps getting it. She's 5.5 years old. And some of our distant relatives, second cousins, they're more than happy to send footwear and clothes and toys and books. And we are more than happy to receive this because it's so helpful from an ecological as well as economical standpoint, right? So I think it just benefits everyone. They get to declutter their house, and we just get to use new stuff for her. And my daughter just gets very excited about anything new. For her, it doesn't matter whether it's out of a brand new packaging or if it just comes in a plastic bag. What about you, Peter? Have you received any pre-loved goods for your son?
Actually, one of the first things I bought for my son was pre-loved, and it was this cot, which I remember my wife, if I'm not mistaken, either from a Facebook group or a WhatsApp group came across, and she was really excited because, it was something which was, I think, a foreign brand, and somebody, kind of the kids outgrew it. So yeah, she was like, we have to go, and we literally went about 25 odd kilometers to the other side of the city, picked it up, and I remember spending an evening kind of assembling it and all of that. Yeah, and that was definitely one of the first things that we got for our son. But other than that, lots of toys, man, because considering how kids go through toys and every week it's something new, something different that they keep finding. So yeah, I have a lot of friends who kind of want to just exchange toys so that the kids have the novelty of finding something new. But Nadir, why are we talking about pre-loved? I mean, I know we just did the episode on buy or not to buy. Why don't you tell us about our guests?
So today on the episode, we have with us Mumbai-based startup. It's called The Share Bear. The Share Bear is a marketplace that provides an opportunity for parents to independently sell and shop pre-loved and pre-owned goods. And this was started by two ladies. One is a mom to twins, Kanika Vasudeva, and Freyan Bhujwala. And Freyan is not even a mom, and that's why it's so interesting that a mom and a non-parent sort of got together and started this business. And I'm really excited to talk to them. So let's just jump in and have a conversation with Kanika and Freyan.
Hi, Kanika, Freyan. Welcome to Pops in a Pod.
Hi. How are you guys doing?
Good. Now, the thing is, we've got both of you on. So just so our listeners know who is who, could you just tell us who you are and what you do? Why don't we start with you, Kanika?
So I'm Kanika and this is Freyan, and we together are the Share Bear. And the Share Bear is basically an e-commerce platform which is a resale marketplace for parents to buy and sell and donate all things to do with babies and children.
Hi, this is Freyan, and I'll be the one talking about non-mommy things, because even though we're running a kids-based platform, I'm actually not a mother yet. So I think that's how we'll differentiate.
Hi Kanika, hi Freyan. Interesting connection, just by the way. My sister and Freyan are family friends in a way. Oh, well, whatever, connected in a very friendly manner.
Yeah, we are. My husband is school friends with your sister's now husband. And as a matter of fact, that me and Anoop were on the same date that Sudeep and Zainab met for the first time. And we had been dating for over a year. And within 6 months, Zainab and Sudeep were engaged and ready to get married. And Anoop was nowhere close to proposing. So it's quite interesting, our connection actually. So we've seen their love story happen in front of us.
That's a whole separate episode that we will talk about sometime later. But coming back to what we really want to talk about is the fact that what you guys have built, the Share Bear, which is in the category of pre-loved goods. Again, a term that parents are getting used to. After obviously they start the parenting journey. So first up, I wanted to ask you all that did you all ever buy or receive pre-loved goods for the kids in your family? Kanika, why don't you go first?
So I will answer this question. My children I'm very proud to say that my children have been brought up on pre-loved and hand-me-downs and pre-owned things. I have never had to buy them anything. I have literally never bought my children a pair of shoes. They're 3 years old now. They're twins. And everything that they've used has either come from friends or family or gifts. And in fact, I even encourage people to give me pre-loved gifts.
Wow, that's so interesting actually that you're saying, right? That your twins are 3, because when we started off the podcast a few years ago, Nader and I were talking, and I think our kids were about 2.5 at that time. And until then, to our surprise, and actually it was a shared experience. I initially thought it was only me, but Nader and I had a very similar experience where we never got a chance to buy anything for our kids. People were gifting us.
Yeah, exactly.
People who had an extra pram, all this kind of stuff. And I guess it's over the last few years that the term pre-loved has come about, because I'm the eldest, right? For context, I have 2 younger siblings. Everyone, like my brother and sister, and I think even other family members, had hand-me-downs. So that's what we used to call it instead of pre-loved, right? But now there's a completely different term to it.
Yeah, well, I think pre-loved is just, it's a nice word. It's nicer to say than second-hand. Also, it's also not just stuff that's been used and given away. It's also stuff that, like, these days, because of the kind of world we live in, there's just so much stuff. So, there's just so many things. There's so many options. There's our buying capacity is also increased incredibly. There's so many brands that are now available in India that weren't there before. So we just all have so much, like even the kids barely even use it. So you might have something that's pre-loved from somebody that's literally been used once. I've given away so much stuff of my kids that they would have worn it at one birthday party and then that's it. They've grown out of it. Like all our kids probably wear the same pair of shoes every day. At least mine do. And if they have like 2 or 3 pairs of shoes, the others are literally brand new when they're given away. And the ones that have really been used cannot be given away.
Yeah. I was actually just coming to that. But that's so true. I guess between 3 of us, Kanika, Nadir, you and me, we'd have very similar stories. But Freyan, I want to pull you into the conversation because the Share Bear, right? I'm sure there was some kind of insight or something that you saw also, probably among family and friends, right?
think yes, among family and friends also, but I think it's weird. But I think my family has been pre-loving for generations. We've had the same outfit being worn by my uncle, by my cousin, by my brother, and now by my nephew. Um, I think for generations people have been preserving things, right? So, for example, my family is very proud of this Indian outfits that they have, like these small chanya cholis in zari, or like small like for kids stuff, and they've been passed on. And not one outfit. There are so many photographs that I can pull out that I and my cousin, who's 10 years older than me, and my Masi, we're all wearing the same thing. So I feel like pre-loved stuff has been going on in my family, and we have been restoring and loving and re-loving things. And I think we all do it. I'm sure, like, if you're from a house that has furniture that's being pulled down from generations, it's just been reupholstered, it's coming down. So I feel like, yes, pre-loved is something that we've trusted because our friends and family have maybe passed it on to us. And now that we're widening the circle, we're able to pull in a lot more people into it, and we're able to exchange these things more widely. And I feel that's where maybe I naturally like lean towards the concept. It was something that it came quite normally to me. So yeah, it was interesting. It's interesting to see how people are now thrifting and how people are now doing these things more openly and more proudly. I think that is basically the biggest thing, that you should be proud of, like being a good environmental warrior.
So, Freyan is very interesting because the whole aspect of pre-loved products, goods, whatever it is, and I completely agree from an environmental standpoint. Like I believe in the philosophy that if you don't need it, don't get it, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that pre-loved goods, especially for kids, is it exists thanks to our very close circuit of friends and family, and it's always word of mouth, right? It keeps moving. That one sister just had a kid, so I have certain things with me. Why don't let's just kind of give it up? What really made you guys feel that okay, this can be expanded into a very strong business idea, and you'll have gotten to this venture? Like, what was that point where, like, okay, let's do this, there's a huge market out there and there's so many people who are willing to try this out?
So I'll answer that question. Basically, COVID happened, and I was at home and I needed something for my son. I wanted some pants, and I just asked a friend of mine whose son is about 6 months older, saying, do you have some pants that he's outgrown because Rehan needs new pants? And she said, no, I don't, but there's a very robust WhatsApp group, which is a resale group. So I'll add you to that, and why don't you ask the moms there? And I did find something. And then I kept noticing that every day, almost through the day, there are mothers buying and selling everything from a rocking horse to clothes to socks to literally like even packets of formula that haven't yet expired. So I then said, okay, chalo, it's time for me to do a proper cleanup. And I took out everything, and I literally sold so much stuff then. It made me feel so good. One, because I was decluttering, and secondly, because my children, out of my friend circle, they are like the youngest. So I don't really have any younger kids to hand it down to. My brother's like 7 years younger than me. He's not married. He doesn't have any kids. So, I mean, I had nobody to give it to. So just lying with me, waiting, because I'm not the kind of person to just junk it. So, of course, I have donated stuff as well, and I've given stuff to my maids, and I've given stuff to other people who need it. But this was just a really good way, I felt. And then I think Freyan and I were speaking, and I was just telling her about how annoying it is to keep dealing with these moms, or like bargaining moms and moms who are like...
I'm so glad you said it, Kanika, and neither and I had nothing to do with this.
Yeah. Some of them are hilarious. So, people would bargain, and then some people would say, please hold this for me, I'm coming to pick it up, and then never show up. And I mean, like, loads of stuff like this. And as a mother of children, you really don't have the time to now deal with other mothers, you don't want to do that. But I also wanted to, use this platform and sell my stuff. So we basically, Freyan and I were talking, and we said, why not, why don't we do something that will enable people to do this, but do it in a much more organized way. And I think that's when the ShareBear was born. It's you can use it like Amazon. You can just go fill your cart, check out. You don't need to have conversations about anything. We put up all the details on our website, even if it's, small things like if there's a flaw in something, and like when we put up books, we even put up videos of the book, so you can actually see the whole book to see that the pages are all fine. There's no, yellowing and stuff like that. So it's a very transparent process. And also you don't have to constantly deal with somebody. So there are other people who are on Instagram, and then you have to send them a message and say, please hold it for me. And then they're like, please transfer the money in 15 minutes. Otherwise the next person will get it. So there's a lot that the person who's even running these Instagram sites needs to be doing. And because it's so heavy on the manpower that, we wanted to be a lot more scalable. So if it's digital, we can, like we started in Bombay, we can move to other cities. We can do a lot more because of the fact that we have a website and we're not dependent on interacting with each person face to face.
Okay, so I just want to take a couple of steps back to what you said, and I'm definitely going to come back to the point where you said about scaling up, right? But one of the main things you talked about, the WhatsApp groups, the Instagram groups, I'm sure Nadir has used a few of these. I know exactly what you're talking about because my wife would constantly be looking up a lot of these groups or chats. And there are certain items that are way more popular than others, right? There's a hierarchy of sorts. So if it's something that's been brought from abroad, that's going first, it, right? So you'll always have that. But one of the main things that you'll have done is also created a platform which is both transparent but also trusted. So what's the process for, say, some of the parents listening in, right? I mean, you've clearly identified the pain points of convenience, but also how is it transparent and how do you make it easy? So what's the process like for them to kind of say, sell something? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of parents listening are more keen on how do they sell a lot of the stuff. They're looking around their room right now more than how do they buy, right?
Yeah, so buying, like Kanika said, is super simple because you add to cart and you check out. So selling, to take it a step back, I think it's a very interesting point that the reason it's trusted is because I feel moms in itself are a super small but super strong community. And I feel they trust each other a lot, even when it comes to, like you're saying, there's a hierarchy of products. Because when one mom endorses it, it's almost like a dominoes effect, and everybody wants the same high chair, the same magna tiles, the same crib, the same cot, whatever it is, the pram, whatever. So that works to our advantage because moms trust each other in what they're putting up, and therefore it makes our job slightly simpler. For selling, it's a very easy process. You register yourself on the website. There is a drop-down form which helps you pick whatever products you want to upload. You upload a picture. You answer a couple of questions like the condition, the price that it was previously at, the price that you're expecting, and a small description. We do encourage parents to put down if there are any flaws in the product pictorially as well as describing it. You upload it. It comes to our backend team. We review it. And if all's fine, it goes directly live on the website. Once it's live and your product sells, you will get a message saying that, hey, congrats, your product has been sold. We will pick it up from you and we will get it to our main warehouse where we will recheck it. I feel at this point this is a very important step, because this builds the most trust. Because if we see a problem or a flaw in the product at this point, we inform the buyer immediately. We also tell the seller that this has been incorrectly depicted or whatever, and then at that point the mom has a choice of going ahead with the transaction or returning it. Thankfully, we've only had one or two of these instances, when we hope that that's the kind of ratio we'll maintain. But that's what it is. So you can get rid of all your stuff in a super simple way.
And you can be sustainable by doing so and earn some money also while doing it. Why not?
I think we are in the initial stages of that, and we have to see the real expense that's going to come our way.
That's education that you have to do.
No, it's an expense, right? I mean, obviously, we will never compromise on things like that, but it's still, unfortunately or fortunately, goes under the expense column. But coming back to what Freyan was saying, the entire process of how are so particular about procuring your goods and kind of moving into that entire process. Do you have a system where when a product is sold to the parent, and now with e-com, everyone knows how to use it, how do you all deal with sort of rejections and people don't like it and the returns for whatever reasons? Is there some kind of a policy that you all have included in this? Because ultimately it's not a brand new product, right? It's pre-loved. What the way you guys have quality checked it, the parent might be probably looking for something else also. So how is there a process where you all ensure that okay, yeah, we don't mind taking the goods back or trial period or whatever it is?
So honestly, according to our return policy and according to all return policies out there for pre-loved products, we have said that there is no return policy. But saying that, we have had a couple of instances where there has been not a condition problem, but a size problem, where a mom bought a pair of shoes and she said, listen, I'm sorry, but it doesn't fit my kid. What can I do instead? And we were happy to pick it up and give her something instead. And she did buy something instead of the shoes. Of course, I'll have to say that as of now, we haven't faced rejection because I think of our middle quality check, and we're very thorough with it. So when it comes to us, even if we see a little bit of a minor scratch or something that we were not expecting, we message both the mom who's selling it and the mom is buying it. So we haven't faced this problem. We faced the problem in terms of a size, which we have returned.
So if I'm not mistaken, you all started in October last year, and it's been roughly about 6 months since then. What I want to know now is, tell us what those memorable moments, right? Because this is the first entrepreneurial journey for both of you, if I'm not mistaken. And Kanika, I'm sure, like you said, that moment where you got rid of all those things, I'm pretty sure you watched Marie Kondo, right? What was that moment like? Have any parents shared similar moments with you?
So I've not watched Marie Kondo.
I have, and it sparks joy.
I know about Marie Kondo, and I'm trying very hard to Marie Kondo, and as well as my kids' stuff. But yeah, so a lot of people have come back to us. Like, for example, our first order that went out about a month or 2 months after we started, we said, let's just call everyone who's bought from us and ask them how their experience has been, if the product is still working, if it's, if they're going to buy from us again. And so we called up the person her name is Sheetal, and she bought the first thing from us, which was a sterilizer. And when we called her, she said, I'm so happy you called because I was so happy with the way it was delivered. It almost felt like I was receiving something from my mom who doesn't live in the city, a care package. Because what we had done is we'd actually wrapped the sterilizer in a baby blanket. That's also because we try to use as much of we try to reuse packaging as much as possible. So right now, like the behind my kitchen is just full of all the cardboard boxes that have been delivered to anybody in my building. So when our packages come, we just pack it in some earlier box. So for that sterilizer, we packed it up in this baby blanket, and she was really happy. So it's really nice to hear that. We also have another person who has a library. So it's really nice because when she can't, she keeps coming on our site and looking at the books that we have. So she runs this library called Just Be, which is in town, and she picks up titles that you won't find at a bookstore here. But because somebody's child has bought it and read it and liked it, and now they've put it up on the site, it's available there.
I mean, I want to also add, I think that for us, a lot of happy moments, I think we are fully in that celebrating small joys, because I think, high five every time we get an order.
Or another 100 Instagram followers.
Or another 100 Instagram followers. When we hit our Instagram numbers, I think we get very excited every time we're even shipping out a product, because like Kanika said, I think we're always scampering for our packaging around the house, saying what will this fit, which box will fit it, and now what else can be used to package it and make it pretty. And I think we've done 3 baby hampers for people. On customized baby hampers, which were, of course, of all things, that were pre-owned. Everything was brand new with tag in that. And we of course did it fully like a hamper, and we put little balloons, and I think that those are really happy moments for us, for people, that it's normalizing this entire process of not necessarily going out there and just spending something. We are curating packages for people, and I feel like that those are all very happy moments for us. Just making those small differences.
Yeah, we also recently did like this. We had a lot of books that had been given to us, and not all of them were in the best condition. So we only put up the ones that are perfect on the website. So we had this whole pile of books, and then there's this thing that happens in Bandra at St. Stephen's Steps. It's like a festival, like an outdoor festival run by people who call themselves Love Your Parks. They've got a group, and they do music and dance and art and culture. So we did it over 3 weekends. We organized a book swap there. So that was also really nice, because we had a lot of kids coming, dropping off their books, and then picking up books that they hadn't read. So, I mean, this is all just like small extensions of what we want to do. But yeah, the main crux of it is normalizing this whole pre-loved, and it doesn't have to be bought from a store to spark joy.
I really like the fact that, y'all are also reaching out to whatever, touch points, as you mentioned, this whole book exchange event. Are there any other ways that you all are trying to reach out to more and more such parents or people who should be aware of the ShareBear, so that they can hand over or sell the products to you guys, so that it can be refurbished and sort of sent along to people who really need it? Is there a process that you all have put in place, considering the fact that it's the venture is just 6 months old?
I think for us at the ShareBear, I think building a community is extremely important. I think I mentioned about earlier how moms are a super strong community, and I don't think that there is a target of a certain kind of parent that should be using the ShareBear. I feel all parents should be using the ShareBear, not only to sell, but definitely also to buy, because it's not a one-sided process where you're just getting rid of your stuff and buying new stuff. I think that sort of defeats the point. We do encourage people to buy pre-owned and pre-loved stuff, because honestly, from what I've noticed from my nieces and nephews and Kanika's kids and everybody around me, kids are not necessarily hung up on too many items all the time. So of course there will be a couple of favorites here and there, but that, I mean, nowadays kids have such a vast a variety of things. I know that my nieces and nephews have not baskets full of toys, one full of tiles, one full of Lego, one full of plush toys, one full of trucks and cars. And I mean, the one at the bottom of it is never getting seen, right? I mean, and that drawing room is constantly taken over because there are these IKEA baskets that are lying in a corner, just like full of stuff. So, I mean, yes, get rid of that stuff also, because honestly, your child is not going to worry so much at that the car is missing at the end of at the bottom of the truck, bottom of the box. But also buy something which they can use for a short time, enjoy it, and then move on with. You don't have to go back to Hamleys and buy a new toy every time you enter. So yes, I think ShareBear is for all parents out there who are looking to make better choices for their kids.
That's such a great insight, Freyan. And even though at the start of the episode you said you're not a mom, I think you're like an honorary mom as part of this mom community. Like you totally
He's
get it.
Interacting with them all the time. I leave a lot of the customer support to Freyan.
Yes, I have been an honorary mom to my nieces and nephews. I think I have been a very involved aunt voluntarily sometimes, and it's exhausting. Just before getting married, actually, I moved in with my cousins who had just had twins, and I think it was a full crash course because when the nanny wasn't there, I was woken up at 5 a.m. saying, "Get up! One of them is awake. show the sun rising to one of them. Feed the other one. Wipe their poop. Now entertain them." So I think one of the biggest mistakes I made as a honorary mom was, I mean, completely off topic, but I started lecturing my cousin and his wife about why the children have iPads and they shouldn't be given iPads. And so the next day when I arrived at lunch, she shut both the iPads and said, "Bua is now going to dance for you because she doesn't want you guys to have iPads."
You asked her,
so for a week I danced. For a week I almost danced. I read stories. I did a bunch of stuff. And I mean, I was happy that at the end of that week, they were at least looking at books and not asking for the iPad. So, been there. But of course, later on,
they don't ask for iPads now. They just ask for live entertainment.
Yeah, now it's just Bua do something or Masi do something.
So, I'm glad you mentioned like a lot of kids, have that novelty factor for toys in there. And I'm sure at the ShareBear, you have noticed it far more visibly, right? So what would you say, just on the top of your mind? I'm not looking for like hard data, but what are some of the things that are more frequently, bought and sold on the website at the moment?
So, I mean, we have a constant demand for toys and books, and that's what people keep coming back a lot for. But we've also noticed that, like, for example, we had a whole bunch of cots when we started and cribs, and they're all gone now. So, and in fact, we thought that those things might be more difficult to move. But I think also because of the fact that these are expensive items and they're also items that people don't just want sitting in their house. So they're happy to get, move it for even a fraction of the price of what they paid for it. So then, and somebody else just gets lucky. So we've actually sold a lot of those. So that's, that was also very interesting. But yeah, like a lot of our repeat customer come back for toys and books because we keep getting, more and more varieties and, this thing. So people who bought, people who haven't bought.
You spoke about that, books and I'm assuming clothes also are, sort of fast moving or rather frequently bought products. But what about very intimate?
So clothes actually are not that fast moving. We've noticed that clothes that have, clothes that still have tags on them, which a lot of the clothes that we have on our site also do. So those are the ones that move faster. The other ones that have that that they say that are in like great condition and but have been used or are gently used. Those are things that move a little slower, because I think that is one thing you can never really be 100% sure of.
What I wanted to ask you, that there are far more other intimate products, right, when it comes to parenting. So one thing that comes to mind is a breast pump, right? That's a very intimate product. It's also extremely expensive, right, when you try and procure a new one.
So we've actually sold a couple of breast pumps already.
Oh, interesting.
So and that's actually even on the whether it's a mommy network group on Facebook, whether it's these WhatsApp and Instagram groups, I've seen them go. People ask for them. So a lot of people have even messaged us. We have a WhatsApp number that's out there on our website where people keep reaching out to us if they want something. So somebody messaged us and said, do you have an easel? Can you get an easel for me that's pre-loved? I'm not interested in spending a lot of money on one. So we've had a couple of inquiries on breast pumps, and like you said, they're expensive products. They are things that you'll use for a couple of months, and then it's just something that's just going to be lying there.
Also, to add to that, I think an intimate product like breast pumps, even for the mother who's bought it initially, the first buyer, it's always kept in great condition and it's constantly sterilized. It's constantly washed because the mother herself is using it like that. So even the
all the parts and all are also replaceable, and you can there are the pump itself, the actual instrument is what's expensive. The other add-ons that are intimate can even be bought new and just added on to that.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of moms. I mean, first of all, a lot of moms are looking for certain brands of pumps which are extremely expensive, whether it's a Medela or it's a Spectra or a Haka pump or things like this. And I think when you're paying a premium for a certain product, you also tend to keep it better. You do look after it, and that is something that we have realized in our premium products, whether it's prams, high chairs, even clothes, when we're talking about certain clothes and stuff. So I think that yes, she's absolutely right. We do get a lot of inquiries for breast pumps, and it's obviously something that we don't have to push out there as it's, hey, it's new, hey, it's trusted, hey, it's whatever else. I think the mothers itself are very open to using them.
We've been talking for the past half an hour or so, and there was a question where I kind of stopped you and I said, I want to come back to this. Is you talked about scaling up the business, right? You're moving. I mean, currently you're available just in Mumbai, but I believe there are plans that you're moving to other parts of India. So if you can tell us more, because I'm sure we have listeners all across the country who would be very happy to know this.
So we consciously started in Bombay. We started small. We wanted to get our logistics right. We wanted to figure out what's working for the buyers, for the sellers. We wanted to make sure our quality check was on point, and we actually, built trust and this whole community. We are now planning to move to Delhi or Bangalore, soon opening up all sides of India and being pan-India. That's our final plan. And yeah, and I think what you were saying is that people are looking forward to seeing us everywhere. I think that's also true, because we get a lot of messages saying, why aren't you here? So on the side, we've actually sent a few orders to Hyderabad and Bangalore and Pune, because people have contacted us and said, no, I really want this. It's on your site. I need to have it. I'm happy to pay the shipping. So now we're trying to figure out a way to get everything across to people and not have these crazy shipping rates. So those are the slight challenges that we are grappling with. But we're on our way to making it happen and happen in a way that works for everyone.
Over the last 40 minutes, Freya and Kanika, you've shared so much. And I think what Nadir and I were saying, that this episode is going to be really useful to parents and non-parents alike, right? And Freyan, who's the honorary member of the Mom Club, do you want to add any parting notes for our listeners?
Yeah, to all Masis and Buas out there, please buy your nieces and nephew everything from the Share Bear. Because A, they love you because you are expected to enter with presents every time. And B, you'll save some costs because you're buying from the Share Bear, and you'll teach them about being sustainable. So, yes.
And we are here to help you to decide what to get them.
Yes. I think that's actually, just as a parting note, to add to our last selling point. If there is something that you cannot find on our website, please do reach out to us, as we have a strong mommy network, when we'll be very happy to source it for you. So yeah, that is all I'd like to say. Our vision is to eventually make pre-loved normal and not to treat it as something that's looked down upon. So go Captain Planet.
Thanks, Kanika and Freyan. Before we let you guys go, why don't you tell our listeners exactly how they can reach out to you and give us the details of your website and social media networks?
You can log on to www.thesharebear.in. I'm going to say the Sharebear again, because if you drop the then you won't find us for now. Our Instagram handle is @thesharebear. And you can reach us on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is on the website as well as on our Instagram profile. We're also there on Facebook for all Kanika aged moms, which is also @thesharebear. And
Thanks so much for that, Freyan and Kanika. And to all our listeners, all these details will be available in our show notes. So please feel free to go there and connect on their website or connect with Kanika and Freyan on Instagram or Facebook and reach out to them. Make sure that you get your own kids or kids in your family something fun and pre-loved. Kanika and Freyan, thank you so much for this conversation. We really, really appreciate what you all are doing.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a ton.
And that was Kanika and Freyan talking about the Share Bear. I'm sure all you parents listening are really keen on finding out more about them and getting in touch. I guess all of you who are out of Mumbai are really excited. They're launching in other cities soon, so stay tuned for that. Like we said earlier, we're going to drop their contact details in the show notes, so keep an eye out on that. That's all from us. As always, you know where to reach us. We've got our website, popsinapod.in. You can also reach out to us on our email. It's popsinapod@gmail.com.
And you can also search for us on Facebook and Instagram. Just type in Pops in a Pod and we'll pop right up. We will see you guys soon.